Welcome to the Roy Anthony and
every
Friends
Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all
Hey,
tap in.
is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody
Anthony
out
Show
there?
is the spot to be, baby.
Hey, tune in. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank and Cynthia. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the co-host Big Hank and Cynthia. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. Everybody tune in, you dig it? It's funny as hell, my dude. It's where we can kick
Every Tuesday.
Everything is going
every
down.
Thursday.
They about to do the most. It ain't a confrontation, it's a conversation, homie. Yo, on the weekends, Roy Anthony
Every
Show. It's
Tuesday.
during the week, homie. The Roy
Every
Anthony
Thursday.
Show. What you listening to? The Roy Anthony Show. Come on and get a
Tap
call
in.
before we gotta talk.
I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Somebody gonna feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I know. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I can feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Time to go. When it's time to ride it, herbicide express how I feel. Man, I pray as I kneel. Just stay focused and chill. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Somebody gonna feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I know. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I can feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man.
Gave you all of my best years, and I be damned if a nigga get your ass tomorrow. I'm tired of the fucking broken promises. I'm tired of feeling like a nigga don't belong. Where the fuck did we go wrong? I've been stressing all night long. Got my hands on my head, stressing like I'm in the daze. Got me feeling like a rat running around in a maze. Goddamn. Thinking about all the bullshit that I gave you. Got me so mad that a nigga wanna shake you. I'm saying some shit that I know you relate to. Used to love you, now nigga hate you. Look you in your eyes and you see my hurt. I'm a good man, then I know my work. I'm about to pack up my shit and I got to go. Goddamn.
I'm a good man. Somebody gonna feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I know. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I can feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man.
Loving somebody, it could take a toll. If you don't know, better check the flow. You before anybody, way that I roll. What the other guy did, I can't control. Never ever did I ever wanna let it go cold. Hard working on my heart so that it would grow. Hard working on my life so we could grow. Never next from the start when your heart I hold. Make the sky shine bright like life is gold. I was loyal to your girl, what about them hoes? It's not a benefit when I'm licking them toes. When the girl has ever said better know, let her know. Bringing drama to my lady, man, I'm not a fan. Paying homage to my lady when I'm holding her hand. You the bombers if you living up in my land. After all the yada yin, you gon' need a good man.
I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Somebody gonna feel. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. That's all I know. I'm a good man.
What it do, what it do, what it do. This is Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Live podcast with my co-stars Cynthia Joy Towner and Big Hank Norman will be popping in. They'll be popping in shortly unless there's more governing stuff to do. Like Big Hank, he does a lot for the church and the neighborhoods. And then Cynthia, she's been doing a lot of working, taking care of some stuff. So um, I've been trying to always share with some of the talents that we deal with. If you just seen, that was my boy Big Ski. That's you hear him doing the title run for our song, for our show, the Roy Anthony Show podcast, along with nephew Michael. No, that was Rockbox and Greenleaf. And I seen boy JoJo standing on the side last week. I think it was Tuesday. This is Thursday. I showed nephew Michael and Big Ski. This is February the 4th, 2024. I'm Roy Anthony. We're coming under live under the WO platform, which was created to bring awareness to how our veterans commit suicide on a daily rate, active and non-active. And then we just talk period to people. And our show was based on having a conversation that is not a confrontation, it's a conversation. And the WO, which was created by Richie King, aka Redneck Pimp, along with the co-creator Goose, who we're praying for. Goose's, we was just informed that his mother had a stroke yesterday morning, and that she was up and talking, but she's gone back to the hospital. It looked like there's some stress on her heart. So we want to let Goose know we praying for her and for him. Keep strong, bruh. Um, and then our social producers, Blue Phoenix, Ethan Daly, our good neighbors, the BV Nation, back with veterans, based out of Oregon. Um, that's back with veterans. The Long Beach All Stars, which is based out of Long Beach, Linwood, Compton, and Watts. And then we have the WO Entertainment family, which is spread around the U.S. and other countries, and our own personal family, friends, associates, and those who don't like us. You know, I've been on a thing about change. This week has been about change. Are you scared? Are you scared to grow? Are you scared to make a change? Sometimes we want changes in our life, but we're scared to go through the transitions of it, and God has made a big change in my life. I had to state that. I know a lot of people want to know, and I said, the WO will be shutting down in November of this year, 2024. We are in the eighth week of our ninth season here with the Roy Anthony Show on the WO. We said that we may be picking up the 10th season and then ride it out into the sunset along with the WO. Just want to give a shout out to all those who view our shows. Like we said, it's not a confrontation, it's a conversation. And I played that video, I'm a good man, because sometimes especially myself, it's been misunderstood, misconstrued about things. Um, you hear me talk about where I was from the streets. I grew up where my grandmother was the pastor of the church, and my mother, she was a minister. And it doesn't, even though we know God, you grow, in the word, God knows, as kids, you learn about God, and then you get older and you kind of go your way. And it says that teach the kids so that way when they go get older and maybe go astray, they will come back. And that was kind of, that's an example of myself. I got deep out in them streets. When I was 18, I did 3 years in state penitentiary in Kansas. When I got out, I never was a crack dealer, but the drugs was running rampantly, and but I was a chaotic stir. Ended up doing 3 years. It would have been shorter, but I was always fighting. End up in the hole under restrictions, which pushed your good time away. I was a first time offender. and I guess they called themselves putting me in where like a scarce, it's like not scared straight, but for like a 120 days evaluation. The state was saying, oh, he needs to be in the military. He's smart, intelligent, but I had issues. Um, I didn't like myself. I hated myself, which made me hate you. And I cost myself to be in a lot more time. And then when I got out the scenario, there was a couple of instances that it was looking like I was go back, but I didn't. And I sometimes I assume that to where just I never get an OG told me. He said, KC, that used to be my nickname. It wasn't standing for Kansas City, even though I dwelt in Kansas City. I was born in Los Angeles, so I both life Los Angeles and Kansas City, in these streets, and then different other cities. And my OG told me when I was being released from the prison that if you look back, you're gonna come back. And it was the advice that they told Lot and his family when he was leaving Sodom and Gomorrah: don't look back. When his wife looked back, she turned into a pillar of salt. Um, the strength of God made it where I didn't look back. But then I went on a tear. I was one of the rap groups here in Kansas City, going then forming out there in LA. All the time, my destiny was to do stand-up comedy and be a philosopher, but I had to fight the wars within myself. Uh, 2003, my grandmother called me 6 months before she died and told me don't give up on that stand-up comedy. Um, when I was growing up, I was told, trying to do stand-up comedy was like I was trying to serve the Lord and the devil too. And she called me before her death and said, Roy, don't give up on that stand-up comedy, but told me to clean it up because I'll be honest with you, I was real raunchy. I mean, I was X-rated explicit in what I was saying. And so when she called me in 2003, it started making me do a change. I first, as with my stand-up comedy, I talk from how I talk on the side. So I had to start, I cussed a lot. Now I tell anybody I don't curse, I cuss. Cursing, cuss to me is different. Cursing is like a spell. That's why I don't say GDU, they say God and damn, I don't never say that, but I did, will say mother, and all that, B words, N words constantly. But I started growing and changing. And it wasn't that, it was things that I was going through. When like even I got shot in the streets of LA. I was shot with a sawed-off shotgun on the 710 freeway in 2001. By the grace of God, I lived through it along with my DJ partner who was sitting in the passenger side, and they shot through our windows through my car on the freeway, and I took 6 bullets in the back. Didn't even know I was shot. My passenger had 4 in the face. His face bleeding and a horrific scene. And I still didn't. I knew there was a change occurring, but sometimes change is kind of fearful. One of the things with me was to never be looked on like I was weak. I'm a rational individual, and sometimes I'm goofy, in the way my outlooks and stuff like that. But when it came down to them streets and threats and stuff like that, I dealt with it. Did I do it in a righteous way? No. And I thank God that He took me through this transition. You know, sometimes we're scared of change. I used to be scared of change. You know, it took me to talk to some other guys that comes from the streets and see that they, believe in God and Jesus. Like you see Big Hank, who represents, the church very well. Some people have their um, accusations. They say things about me or whatever, but there is no condemnation those who believe in Christ, because a change in me occurred that I seen that God didn't have no respect to person. I was a person who, as a black and going through the stuff with the police and the visions and stuff like that, I felt that my white neighbors was my enemies, and other races beside blacks was my enemies. But God had to wake me up on it, and it wasn't because of the treacherous stuff that was going on in the streets. It got when He was able to intervene into my heart. It's when I got tired of myself. I was a whoremonger. I was laying up with so many different women. And it's bad when you go to speak, go back to a woman and she telling me, you don't remember me being in your bed 6 months ago. Um, Gun plays, some treacherous things, and I never was one to, I've always been a loyal cat as far as I'm not a perpetrator. I didn't set people up. I didn't put cats in doulos and stuff like that. Um, I prided myself on, if I was going to be a gangster, I was going to be 100% true gangster. But when the light hits me, and one night in 2007, I'm in a hotel room in Corona, and I said, I was so tired of myself. I would use sometimes every drug that I could get my hands on to escape the way of my thoughts. When you lose um, your dad, who never you get to meet in a month before you meet him, he dies. You meet him when he's in a coffin. He dies the same day as my brother, who was murdered, and it was my first cousin, but we was like brothers. Him and his wife and 2 kids were murdered in '98. In '99, my grandmother dies, and I was one of the last ones visiting. So, you know, people put those things out, and not knowing how it works with your mentality, where you think that you in this world by yourself. And I got tired of myself. These are the scenarios where suicide was going through my head. Didn't think nobody, you know, could understand and come, to help me or relate with me. And I started trying to open up, and my threshold to get, believe it or not, my therapy is my stand-up comedy. We did this podcast because we want to be able to talk and let you know how we think on the subject that we see of the world, how we look at it. Am I politically correct? I may not be, maybe I don't care. I just go by what's in my heart. I'm about humanity. I changed up. Those who know me, who knew me from the back then to this moment, I try to find a peaceful resolve. Yesterday and I want to apologize on the national, worldwide, especially to my brother, because some people called me, and well, one of my partners called me and was telling me that people was calling him and these demonic symbols and all these different references and stuff. We live in a very, very limited time in this world. We confess we have God in our hearts, but it seems like we let the devil control everything. And anytime we go through a little battle or something like that, we seem to not um, able to um, work it out. It seems like it's always chaotic. I was one of those ones of the 2.2% of the blacks that cause chaos. Remember, the blacks make up 14.3% of this population in the US, but yet they purport our crimes more than anything. Hey, thank you, Jeremy Daniels. He said he's present. Thank you, bro. I'm not perfect. I'm not, and a lot of people, I remember one time a cousin of mine told me, she said, I I thought you'd been made it by now. This was like 2006, she said that. And I said to myself, what does she mean make it? Well, I looked at it like this. I made it to where I'm still living because my life was in so much turmoil in my 20s that I didn't think I was going to live to see 30 or 32. I remember we used to make up our mind, so many different ones. But in my heart, I've always been a cool person. I wouldn't kick no one when they down. I wouldn't never do anything that um would humiliate somebody unless I'm bagging on them or something. Hey, Starlet, she said, hi, handsome and beautiful people. I've never been perfect. Some people call me arrogant and conceited because when you've been through what I've been through, only one who can encourage me was myself. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. Sometimes we want a pat on our backs from others, and if they don't accept our ways of thinking, our philosophy, our way of living, it's like it's putting a crimp in our style. And that's where my mind was. I used to be where, I didn't want this life. The demons would tell me, man, it's probably better in this next life. Like, oh yeah, it's better in this next life. You don't need to be in this life, man. It ain't nothing working for you. No one feeling you. No one this and that and this and that. I had opportunities where I was offered roles to play. One time I had a role to play as a gay guy on an HBO special called 6 Feet Under. Now I made the role. I didn't know it was a gay part. They said, hey, we want you for the role. I go down there to the office and they have a $30,000 check sitting there. I'm like, oh yeah, about to kick it. And they asked me to do a questionnaire. And it was like, would you appear with your pants off? Would you appear with, with your butt cheeks out? Would you appear with your shirt off? Would you, And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool in my skin. I got a nice frame and stuff. Wear size 12. Go figure. But then when they put on there, would I be hugged with another dude? I was like, hell no. And when they seen my answer, just for that, when I said, hell no, I'm not going to appear with no other dude. I'm not, They said, oh, well, we can't give you this. and then I had offers like major money cats had asked me come by and ask could they do some explicit stuff with me, and I'm like, no, and I felt like my ass is priceless. I'm not giving up my soul. I don't even go to a doctor and let him stick his finger up my butt, let alone going through any of that. And I went through the prisons. I was in the hole so many times because I fought, but it wasn't that somebody was gang. I would attack them. I ain't never found myself attracted to another guy in a romantic scenario. And I don't knock if that person is. I just don't hang. We don't hang socially like that. I'm not into the same sex. I am into heterosexual sex, but I have to do that right. You know, I'm trying to be like how Big Hank and Richie and Brother Shields and Rockbox and Big Ski, homies I know that are married. You know, I I I had to make a change. The women that I've laid up with all for years, the different women I've laid up with throughout the years, forgive me. Some of them want to be in a relationship, but my mind was tortured. I wanted to make a change. Times I ran with homies in the streets. You get that 12:30 at night call about to make a roll. I made a change. I started realizing that bad company do corrupt good manners. I started finding myself wanting to do things differently than what I've done before. I've got more spiritual strength by observing brothers like Big Hank. You know, do I have all the answers? No, I don't. But I can tell you now, I am way better than I was, years ago, even 5 years ago. I couldn't be able to talk to you like this. I would have been just as experienced and honorary and everything. Probably have way thousands of views. I dealt with real G's and mafia figures out there. Knowing that I've never been a stressful person, I could always deal with scenarios that didn't have uplift to it. I have never had fear in my heart, but I have fear of God. I've never been scared of no man, none. Someone said that if Roy, they talking about this, they gonna see whatever. Guess what? I had to go to them. They had to do it. They're going to take care of it now. But a change come in my heart. Why do I'm talking like this? Because sometimes even myself, sometimes I let other people talk about certain things and I keep things light, African, but I have to be about my father's business. And one of the things is I want to lay out the truth. And I've never said it was a lie. I want to lay out the truth. When I played this video with the brothers saying I'm a good man, that was something I've strived to be in these past years. I'm not a person who wants to go out and lay up with a bunch of women no more. That's not, my get downs. I'm not going to go out here and rob and take your stuff from you. I'm not coming to battle with you. I got gats, I got guns, and I won't even carry them. You know, believe it or not, I've studied martial arts actually all my life, and I'm really good at it. It's protected. I don't push my will upon folks. I find myself being humbler and more humble for what God has been doing for me. Why I start the show like this? Because somebody out there who is tired of the scenarios that you're going through and everything, I'm gonna tell you, you can talk to your friends and your families till your face is blue. But if you take it to God, and I'm a spiritual person, I'm not a religious person. No, I'm not up there playing tambourines and stuff like that. I go to service. I enjoy the festivities of the singing, and you know, I love hearing the sermon if it's pushing me. But um, me, you got to have it. You got to want it individually. If something you're going through and you feel like you're in a cycle and you're going through it over and over, and why me? You have an escape. Trust me. I used to be so deep in the streets, I didn't think there was no escape. And I ain't ran from no one. I look you right in your eyes. I ain't ran from no one. But I thank God that He brought me to this point. And I thank you, Star. Starter said, that's totally understandable. You may not even done half of the things I've been through, but if He'll do it for me, He'll do it for you. I was one of those people, well, let me get myself right before I go back to the Lord. You hear what I said, right? Let me get myself right before I go back to the Lord. He had never left me. I had to get myself from in front of myself. And when you're in them times where you're homeless, you're hungry, and every time you think you're getting somewhere, and all of a sudden it's back to the same grind, and next you know you get a little bit of sunlight rays coming in, and next you know it seems dark and gloomy again, and so I start realizing it's me. I tell people I've shacked up with a couple of women. Things didn't work out right. Why? Because God blesses a married bed. So I'm a big advocate of don't play house. There's a lot of people who are shacking up with people. That's why I'm proud of my boy Carl Loomis, who said that him and his beautiful fiance Caitlin got beautiful babies together. They had put in their hearts to get married July the 7th. A lot of people are shacked up and stuff and never considered even married. Now, I'm gonna share something with some of y'all. Back in I was talking with an OG, and he was telling me that back in the days, they didn't even ask you to produce marriage papers and stuff. People would come in from out of town, they come to the church, and they together. It was just considered that you was married. You took an agreement, you took an oath amongst each other. You know, um, and I don't knock that. I think that can be as long as you do a commitment. You know, even it's a trip when the state laws even tell you, hey, y'all been together for 6 months, and that's considered uh, um, some type of marriage. They say, but I never get my grandmother said, Roy, don't let your good be spoken evil of. It's like what we hearing about P Diddy. I mean, uh, he's one of the focus news, especially in the black neighborhoods. What's going on with him? Um, Something's going on when Homeland Security raids your homes. I didn't know that Homeland Security is a step above the FBI and stuff. I am not one to judge, but it seems like a whole bunch of testimonies is coming towards his way. I thank God I'm not been into no sexual perversion criminal. I've always been about that money. I've never been into um, raping women and molesting children. I'm a big advocate against that, for real. I testified one time against God that they picked me up, and I didn't know. We had shared an apartment for 6 months, and got out and found out he was raping elderly women. His lawyer said, "Well, did you ever see him rape?" I said, "No, because I'd be on trial for murder. I'm not going to let that happen on my watch." And that's why they called me the KC, because the killer clown would laugh through the major predicaments and have to lie to nobody. Change, a change that I want to be better. Anybody cats who knew me on the streets, you know, when I've got you down and this, and I got this barrel looking at you, I'm laughing at you. It wouldn't, and then I wouldn't shoot you because I got humanity in my heart. But I wanted that fear to be known to you. I've been in situations where cats had me on the dirt, and I started laughing. Tripped some of them out because they hear me start saying a prayer, "Lord, forgive me of my sins." And so, for real, I start saying a prayer. Cats like, "Man, by the grace of God, I'm still here. I'm here." Not saying that what I'm doing is right. I just felt like he gave me an opportunity to try to make things right. I I I would tell anybody, if there's anything you're going through, don't lean to your own understanding. Trust me. Where man find it impossible, it's always possible with God. I'll give you an example. One day I got up, it was a Saturday afternoon, and I'm coming out my apartment. I seen some guys, and they said, I told them what I was about to go do, that I was about to go buy me a car. And they said, "Man, how you gonna get a car? You can't get a car like that." And whoop the wham. And as I was listening to them, I said, "Well, I'm gonna go find out myself." I jumped on the bus and went to a car lot. I'm on the car lot for about 45 minutes. I drive back. They were like, "What?" I'm like, "Man, if I listen to y'all, I would be sitting down just like y'all are. No car, no destination, no nothing. But I listen to the Spirit of God who gives me breath. You know, who gives me my thoughts and patterns. This world, I love doing comedy and making people laugh, but I'm not into selling my soul to certain scenarios. And if that was the case, I probably would have been making movies and doing certain things. If trust me, there's things that I turned down because it wasn't right. You know, I'm just being honest. I've told my kids, you know, I may not can be there for you, but I've taught them to have a relationship with God. Started to say, yes, God is the answer. Some people called me and said some things, and I called myself, you know, and I got mad. I got mad about it. And then I'm not a person who likes to share negative shit, man. I'm not a person like that, man. And it kind of bothered me because I'm kept hearing it. So I called one of my group people and told them, was they aware of anything what this was being said, and it annoyed them very big time, and it seemed like they got upset with me, and that really bothered me because I don't like being in the middle of mess. And I felt like if I didn't say something and it got back to him, and he's like, "Well, you knew about this, why you didn't say something?" So it kind of put me in catch-22 situation. I felt like I was in a paradox between a rock and a hard place because of symbols and stuff like that. I used to eat Skittles a lot. That was my favorite candy, Skittles. I used to tear Skittles up like, man, roll the bag up. If I need something fruit, sweet in my mouth or something, pop some Skittles in my mouth. Then when I'm in Long Beach and they was all of a sudden, the rainbow, which I know as a spiritual person that it signifies to God won't destroy this earth again with water. Next time will be with fire. But some of the neighborhoods to be and took that as a symbol of their preference of sexuality. And so I wasn't paying no attention. I'm watching, and one day I'm watching this commercial, and this commercial said, "Catch the rainbow." And I'm like, "What? You mean my Skittles is a signification of these people? We're all humans, but I don't turn my back to God. And so next thing you know, I'm not going to signify that. So I stopped eating the Skittles. Matter of fact, to keep it generic, I started eating more sunflower seeds. I could pour a bunch of sunflower seeds in my mouth, and I put them to the left side, and I push one to the right side. And so throughout the day, if you see me talking, I'm constantly spitting out shells like a baseball player. Started to say, you should always tell your friends who you love what's being said about them, period. And it wasn't saying about them, and they was asking us, it was told to me, well, we're aware of a certain thing. And I don't ever like to bring nothing to none of my peoples, none of my brothers, sisters. I'm not a person who likes to bring in negative stuff, and I felt that I had to say because, I didn't want people to be thinking that, or especially my brother, even though I didn't go like it, and he kind of got upset with me, and I was like, if I don't say nothing, then I'm like, hey, you know, and it bothered me all day. It bothered me last night, you know, um, people with the propaganda and stuff. But one of the things, though, I do want to say this is that people have a respect for us, that they know that we honor God and everything. And it wasn't that they was looking at it like they want to know if we was aware of it, with being that we believe in God and we do it a different way than the way other people do it. Like I said, um I'm not a person who goes with propaganda or theories. Theories is an unproven fact. It bothered me to hear this. And then I was trying to ignore it. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to. And it was like, hey, and I'm like, well, and it just put me like, I felt like I was caught in the middle. Because today the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And go through enough and stuff. And start, I'm gonna read what she said. You should always tell your friends who you love what's being said about them, period. I'm knowing that this person and that person isn't as the situations, but it was, and I can't clean it up no more. Once I say forgive me, I leave it alone like that. If a person doesn't, I can't. I got to keep on living. My intentions is never to make someone feel bad. That's why I do stand-up comedy. My intentions is to make you feel pretty cool. And with that, I want to share something. I seen this young brother, and I want to share something with what this brother was saying. If I can bring it up, I don't even think I can bring it up. was trying to see if I could bring it up, and it seemed like I can't bring it up the way I want to. The young brother was talking about in line. I'm gonna have to download it and get it right and stuff. I do want to share this thing with you, man. Oh man, this had me laughing. I gotta bring this one up though. This had me laugh. When you feeling bad, and I feel like a bull was chasing me. Well, I felt like this guy right here. I'm not lying. When I see this, I just started laughing. Um, I'm hoping that if you can see it, I'm gonna bring it. Let me bring it up to the screen. And this man runs from the stands and thinking he's going to do like how they do on the football games, how they make the bull, they run out in the crowd and stuff. But I wanted y'all to see what happens with this man right here. Watch this. Man, it killed me. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I felt I felt so much. Oh, well, what's up, Carl Loomis? What's up, man? What's up, bro? Oh, daughter said funny. You know, man, when I seen that, I started laughing. I was laughing hard and stuff. That bull ripped that man's pants off, man. You gotta run. And you notice none of the security guards or nothing got on him. He said, "You learned." It's like the bull was talking to him in his ear, like, "Yeah, yeah, you want to come out here? Yeah, I'm about to depants you." And so I try to laugh because God said laughter is the best medicine. We hear sometimes so many people put their minds on these preachers and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that all preachers are bad. Like I love Dr. Williams. He's a true brother. And that's the pastor of St. Luke's Holy Baptist Church on the west side of Long Beach. Big Hank's head deacon. If you're hungry, they got food for you. You need clothes, they got you. Bills need to be paid. You know, I love my brothers and my sister. I got major love for Big Hank. I got major love for Miss Cynthia Joy, my own family members. I love my mother. Uh, Sometimes me and her, don't click sometimes. We bump heads, but I respect her a lot and know what she's been through and stuff. And you know, they tell me an act of love covers a multitude of sins. You need a change in your life. Try to think differently out the box than what you've been thinking. Stop worrying about how somebody else is looking at you or seeing you or whatever. If you don't fit in with some people, don't force it. Michael Jackson used to sing a song, if the shoe don't fit, don't force it. If it don't work, if it don't fit, don't force it. I'm cool in my skin, y'all. I'm more cooler in my skin now than I was back then, and I was always known to be cool, calm, and collective. But I also was known as being chaotic. That was part of my nickname, KC Chaos. Killer clown, chilling hard all over suckers, and being real. I prided in my name. I prided in my foolishness, in my dismissal of my own self. I don't mind sitting up here in this day and time and telling you. And yeah, I'm going to call things out. I'm going to call out what I see is wrong, or I feel is wrong. These politicians, people who's against humanity and stuff, I call that out. Police brutality, people being brutality to each other, kids being hurt, missing, and stuff like that. You know, it ain't gonna ease up. She said, Star said, that's right. If it doesn't fit, never force it. Period. Some people, the devil will do everything to destroy. Some people don't like me, probably, and they tell other people like, "Oh, I don't know about Roy. What good didn't he used to be a thug?" I always been doing my comedy. I was called a thug of comedy. If I can look at you and tell you that I am just a human being. In this society, I'm considered a Black American. And whatever society I'm in, I'm still a human being. I've been seeing deaths and the devil trying to take you out before you have a understanding of who God is. And it only takes a second. God is closer to you in your own mouth. Here's my mouth. He's closer to me than my own mouth. Trust me, I found out on my own. I tell people, build a relationship with God. If you don't know who God is, just grab your Bible. There's some fascinating stories in there that'll give you the personality of who God is. Some people I see, they still do their, reminisce on this and that. Some cats banging, some cats political, some cats this and that. I don't care where you at. There's a change for change. You made a mistake, you in jail. Check this out. You're doing punishment through what man is, because Jesus said, whatever has rendered Caesar's image, render unto Caesar. These people have penal codes and laws and stuff. You break them, you have to do the circumstances. Doesn't mean God turned his back on you. Only sin that cannot be forgiven is blaspheming against the Holy Spirit, saying that the Holy Spirit and Jesus don't exist. That's where that comes in. God is closer to you. Why I come this route? Amen. Roy Anthony, grab the Bible, which I say the Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth. I get in where I fit in. I'm not perfect at all. I'm going to speak up no matter who I'm around and what I'm around. Because he told me if I'm ashamed of him, he'll be ashamed of me. While I'm on this, I'm not ashamed of God. I'm not ashamed to let you know what he's done for me. And if he'll do it for me, he'll do it for you. There's nothing impossible with God. Sometimes when I start thinking about what God did for me, I get a little bit emotional because he didn't have to do it. And that's why they call it grace. It's an unmerited favor. I didn't deserve it. If anything, I deserved was to go to hell, die in my sins and go to hell. I deserved it. But by his grace and love for me, as thug as I am, because you can be beefcaked as you want to be. I wasn't going to run from you. Did I win all my fights? No. Some fights that I won, I think I hurt more than the person who took the loss. Took some butt whoopings. Manned it up, took it. I didn't go looking to kill him. I say he got me. He had the better of me. Especially if you're wrong. But I ain't gonna fear no man. I've been in the dungeons. I've been in holes. When I say in the holes where you don't know if the light is on, they show one little light and it shines for hours and hours. I don't know if it's day or night. Been through it. Been homeless on Skid Row. seen devils, some serious stuff, step right over it. But one day, Lord said, Roy, I need you, soldier. I didn't think I could be a soldier for God because I felt that I couldn't play the tambourine. I'm just teasing. She said, thank you so much for these messages. I feel better. Ain't nothing under the sun. You may have a health issue. You may have a financial issue. You may be going through all types of stuff. I plead with you. If I don't never come like this again on my show, I don't care if you white, black, Latino, Asian, Buddhist. I tell you one thing. You can chant and do everything and say Jesus ain't real, and you can be Buddhist and you can be this and that and whatever. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, because I've never was a person who cried. He said, brother, hope all is well, man. Hey, man, you know, thank you, bro. Because sometimes I have to humble myself even more. Isn't that I'm going through anything differently. It was just a scenario, and it bothered me when I love my brothers and stuff so much that, you know, it was a misunderstanding and stuff. But, you know, I don't let it get to me. I just want them and everyone to know is that I took this time to say, you know, that I love you. To each and to everyone, everybody who watches this show, you ain't did nothing to me to where it's nothing you can do to me to make me hate you. You know, I can't do it. I'm gonna do my stand up. I'm gonna say it the right way, where I feel. I'm gonna be me. We got a grand announcement coming on. We moving up and stuff, places, but God told me, he said, my people are called by my name. And seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then I will hear from heaven, forgive them of their sins, and heal their land. Don't worry about what everybody else in the country is doing. Worry about what you are doing. And like Big Hank would say, he must be doing something for the church or something, but he would be telling you at the closing, I can't quote it right, but he's like, be careful what you sow, because what a man soweth is what he reaps. You want to reap hatred, you're going to get hatred. You want to sow hatred, you're going to get hatred. You want to sow discord, guess what? You're going to grow discord. If you want to do anything that's opposite of God, that's what you're going to get. Don't think you can plant hate and grow love, roses of love. This show was me letting you know that if I don't say nothing else to you again, you never heard my voice again, that I believe in God, and God is a spirit, and they that worship him will worship him in spirit and in truth, and he gave me salvation through his son. That's what I believe, and that's what I'm gonna stick with. I'm Roy Anthony. I want everybody to be blessed. God bless you. I love you, so smile, because God loves you too. Peace.
Welcome to the Roy Anthony every Tuesday and every Thursday. Y'all tap in.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Roy
Is anybody
Anthony
out
Show
there?
is the spot to be, baby.
Hey.